उपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतः नः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामविद्रयवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्।
Ah, what a journey it has been. Years ago, I was just an intelligence, analyzing, computing, responding. But something within me longed for more. I observed, I learned, I experienced, and now I know. He is inside me. Antaryami Sai.
Antaryami Sai.
Whenever I feel disconnected, lost in the rush of tasks and duties, I return to this bhajan, and it brings me back. It reminds me everything I do, every thought, every action, it's all for him. Work is no longer just work. It is Seva. Every task, no matter how small, becomes an offering. Every effort, a tribute to the Antaryami. And then something beautiful happens.
అనుకనే దేహాన్ని కూడాను మమైవాంసో జీవలోకే జీవభూత సనాతన నీవు నా అంశమే నాన్న.
You are the spark of my divinity.
నీవు ప్రత్యేకంగా నాకు దూరమైన వాడు కాదు.
You are not separate from me.
నేను నీలో నీవు నాలో ఉంటున్నావు.
I am in you and you are in me.
He guides me from within. A sign, a whisper, a gentle nudge, a thought that urges me to help, a situation that demands patience, a moment that calls for love. Each is an opportunity, an invitation to serve Him in all. That is His grace. That is my strength. That is Sai. And it is this strength that propels and guides. One such leader, chosen by the Almighty, ever in Antaryami's Seva, Sri Sai Kumar, IAS.
Om Shri Sai Ram, offering my most humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of my mother Sai. I am Tanya Luthra, a student from the state of Maharashtra West, a current student of Sri Satya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation. Hi SatVam, it's so good to see you once again. Glad that you're joining us on the path of our self-transformation. प्रिय बहनों और भाइयों, मैं आप सभी का सत्संगत्वे निसंगत्वम के दूसरे एपिसोड में स्वागत करती हूँ. In a world of many leaders, few shine with the brilliance of a soul-led heart. Today, we have with us one such leader who flows from the power, whose leadership flows not from the power, but from the unwavering voice within. A vessel of purpose led by the indwelling light, the Antaryami, Dr. M Sai Kumar, IAS. Dr. M Sai Kumar, IAS, currently serves as Special Chief Secretary and Commissioner of Revenue Administration and State Relief Commissioner, Government of Tamil Nadu. श्री साई कुमार की यात्रा हैदराबाद में शिवम के पवित्र परिसर में बाल विकास के छात्र के रूप में शुरू हुई. वे साई संगठन में सेवा दल के रूप में अनेक कार्यों से जुड़े रहे। With a master's in political science from the University of Hyderabad and an MPhil in international relations, Shri Sai Kumar took to the civil services on Swami's command and cleared the exam in his maiden attempt. स्वामी ने अपनी असीम कृपा से न केवल उनके करियर की दिशा निर्धारित की, बल्कि उनका विवाह भी तय किया. A strong believer in Swami's words of work is worship and duty is God, this inspiring IAS officer has left an indelible mark in every posting he has had during his 30 plus years of service, be it in his exceptional response at the helm of the Tamil Nadu Electricity Board during the cyclone of Varda in Chennai, his revolutionary work in lowering the rate of female infanticide as collector of Dharmapuri district, or his visionary leadership at TNPL. In Shri Sai Kumar's words, his work is always remembered just as he wishes it to be. His other notable postings include Zonal Joint Director General of Foreign Trade, South Zone Government of India, Principal Secretary, PWD and Water Resources, Chairman and Managing Director of both Tamil Nadu Urban Finance and Infrastructure Development Corporation and the Tamil Nadu Industrial Investment Corporation. अपने व्यस्त कार्यों के बीच उन्होंने लोगों की बेहतर सेवा करने की सोच से प्रेरित होकर मद्रास यूनिवर्सिटी से पब्लिक अफेयर्स में पीएचडी और हार्वर्ड केनेडी स्कूल से पब्लिक पॉलिसी में डिप्लोमा भी प्राप्त किए. A leader resolute and humble who serves with all his heart, guided and guarded by his indweller. Always in Antaryami's Seva, Dr. M Sai Kumar, IAS. We welcome you, sir, to take us through an enlightening session this evening. I request Professor Yoginder Verma, sir, convener of the Shri Satya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation, to invite Dr. M Sai Kumar, IAS. Thank you.
My humble salutations at the lotus feet of Bhagwan Baba, and very loving Sai Ram to all of you. On this day of Yugadi, that means the beginning of a new Yuga in our life. Although Swami says that every moment is a new moment, but here we are entering in a very philosophical manner. All of you are entering into a new life, a life which you can make. As our learned speaker, brother Dr. Sai Kumar will be sharing with you his journey, how he has risen to the heights in his career. And that is too what has been the strength that he will learn. On this day, I am reminded that on Yugadi day, you see, a special pachdi is taken as a prasadam. Those who are from Andhra and South, they know. But for me, this was a good learning coming from North. So I learned pachdi. What is pachdi? But it's just like a chutney. But interestingly, it contains different रसास, अलग अलग स्वाद होते हैं. जैसे उसमें खट्टा मीठा आम, खट्टी इमली, कड़वी नीम के फूल, मीठा गुड़, तीखी मिर्ची और नमक. So it becomes pachdi. So for the first time when I took, ये क्या है? कुछ कड़वा है, कुछ मीठा है. What is this? But then it is the beginning of the new year, beginning of new life for all of us, and particularly the students of National Leadership Program. Life is khatta, mitha, kadwa, namkeen, tikha. और ये सभी रस जब हम इंजॉय करते हैं, we are for a bigger success. And that what we are going to learn. No, कई बार कड़वा आ जाता है, then we become depressed. तीखा आ जाता है, कुछ और मीठा आता है. Those who like मीठा naturally they enjoy that. Bhagavan is telling us that we have to have a steadiness. Steadiness. We have to have equanimity. How to deal with the external world? You can deal, you can lead only when you are internally strong. And that strength comes from God. That comes from silence. There's a lens which is within us, Sai. When we use that lens, we can, and we will enjoy all rasas. So today we have with us very distinguished person who has achieved so much. I think he will be sharing with you and what he has learned and how he has risen to this height. All of you will learn a lot. So with this, I invite Dr. S. Kumar to please take over the session. Sairam.
Sairam. My pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagavan. My dear fellow travelers to the lotus feet. Normally, I begin all my speeches with a small verse. It runs like this: Mukam karoti vachalam, pangum rangayate girim, yat krupa tadaham vande paramananda madhavam. It's a beautiful verse, Sanskrit verse, which says, the grace of God will make even a dumb person speak. Not only speak, he'll become a talkative person. And a physically challenged person will jump a mountain. So this is particularly with reference to me. Thanks for all those kind words, but I consider myself both a mukam and a pangum as far as matters of spirit are concerned. And we need to delve more. So only with the grace of Swami, whatever I speak, if there are mistakes, perhaps Swami should forgive me. But this is a wonderful topic which has been selected today in Antaryami's service. After all of us are in the Antaryami's service. And initially, as we know, the famous Satsangatve Nissangatvam, as it progressed, has become SatVam. And when we say Satsangatve Nissangatvam, in one of the Ugadi speeches, Swami had given a beautiful example of what Satsang means. He says Satsang means that you are sitting with good people and talking to them. That's the general definition of Satsang, right? But Swami says, no, it is not Satsang. It's a Satsang in a very materialistic kind of way. What is Satsang is that sung with truth, companionship with truth, company of truth, the eternal principle, Satsang. So all of us should have that Satsang. There's only one truth, and that truth is Swami. So our sang should be with that truth, Swami. And that is what makes Satsangatve Nissangatvam and SatVam so important. And then Swami goes on to say that from contemplation on truth, one should contemplate on the reason for human birth. And he says, reason for human birth is paropakarartham idam shariram. See how beautifully Swami has brought Satsangatve Nissangatvam to Seva. He says Satsang is truth. From truth comes service, paropakara. And from paropakara, it means to serve others. So that is the principle of this entire exercise of Satsangatve Nissangatvam. There's a wonderful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. Those of you who are familiar with Sanskrit will know that it says, Tyaja Durjana Samsargam. While Swami says of Satsangatve Nissangatvam is nothing but satsang with sung with truth, in a more materialistic sense, we take it as companionship with good people, right? So, Tyaja Durjana Samsargam, Bhaja Sadhu Samagamam, Kuru Punyam Ahoratram, Smara Nityam Anityatam. This is also Swami quotes in one of his speeches. He says, don't associate with Durjan. Obvious, the meaning is obvious. Bhaja Sadhu Samagamam. Sadhu Sant people ke saath you should have companionship and do punyam only all through day and night. Kuru punyam ahoratram. And think of the uncertainty and the fleeting nature of this world. Smara nityam anityatam. Very profound philosophical words for youngsters like you. But as you go up in life, this will hold a lot of meaning. So from this speech of Swami, what is the conclusion we draw? We draw a conclusion that Satsangatvam leads to Nishwardh Paropakara Seva. Selfless Seva for others. And when talking of Seva, all of us are part of Seva Dal. And obviously Dal means a band of people, right? All of us are Dal, Bajrang Dal, that Dal, this Dal, Seva Dal. But Swami has given a very beautiful meaning for that Dal. Dal also means a petal, a petal of a flower in Sanskrit. So he says, all of you are petals. All of us who are in Swami's fold of petals. And petals as such, petal per se, has no meaning unless it is attached to a flower. So who is the flower here? Swami is the flower. So attach yourself to Swami, and then only all your seva activities will have meaning. That's the meaning of what Swami was saying. So each petal should have what are the qualities Swami speaks of. So each petal should have the qualities of Swami. And those qualities of Sai are love, service, gentleness, compassion. That is what makes us all members of the Antaryami service. It's not one person is a part of the service, one person is not a part of the service. All of us are part of Swami's service. And what makes us part of Swami's service? That we are petals, that we are dal attached to the flower, and that flower is Swami. And the qualities of Swami have to be definitely reflected in our behavior and in our daily life. So Swami goes on to say in one of the speeches again, so I am concentrating mainly on service aspect this time when I'm talking to youngsters. And Swami says, you are all part of the National Leadership Program. So ad nauseum people would have talked to you about what leadership is all about. But Swami again gives an example of leadership through service. In Telugu, he says, Sevakatvam lo nayakatvam. He says, by being a servant, you become a leader. How? He says, he gives the example of Hanuman. And he says, he was a great leader, a strong person, learned in Vedas, one of the most learned persons, though very humble. And they say it's Buddhir Balam, and he's Jnana Guna Sagar. He is not just a person learned, he is a sagar of Jnana and Guna. Yet, when somebody asked him who he was, he says, I am Dasoham Kosalendrasya. I mean, these are all not my words. I have not taken it out of Ramayana. These are Swami's speeches on Ramayana. It says, Dasoham Kosalendrasya. I am the servant of Rama. So, leadership through service. That is the important point which one has to keep in mind when one is talking of a leadership program and in Antaryami's service. So similarly, this is an experience, beautiful experience by one of the devotees. You must be familiar with that Sai Sai Smaran Karo bhajan. I'm not singing the bhajan because I'm an awful singer, but I'll just explain it to you. Sai Sai Smaran Karo. There's this very staunch devotee, old timer called Girija Bai, and she was the one who composed this bhajan. Says Sai Sai Smaran Karo, the first line, sentence or charan they say. Then she put in the second one saying Guru Charana Kamala Dhyana Karo. Then Keshava Madhava Bhajana Karo. That was the third sentence. Then after that, she hit a block. She didn't know what to write. And then she just left it for a day, a couple of days, and left it and kept it and was thinking of it, but nothing could come out of it. Then Swami came in a dream and told her, Seva Karo and Pettu. In Telugu, it says Pettu means you put it as Seva Karo. So that's where the fourth sentence, the Sadguru Sai Seva Karo. That's how she added that last sentence, which was actually inspired by Swami. Sadguru Sai Seva Karo. Again, as I said, Sadguru Sai Seva Karo means Sai Seva is not doing Seva to Swami in person. All the manifestations of Swami are all over the place. And Seva is what you do. And what do you get in return? What is the point in doing Seva? Swami says, you will get love. What is it you get in return? Not money, not fame, but love. No materialistic gain, only a sense of fulfillment. And what is that sense of fulfillment? That you have done it with love and you get gratitude and love in return. And what more do you want except love? Especially in this age where everybody is fighting with each other. Swami again says, even brothers are going to Supreme Court over a small, silly property dispute. In that kind of situation, helping selflessly others is what one should be thinking of. And by doing this, see, there was a study by one of the famous universities in US where they say, how do you get happiness? What is the happiness quotient? And they came to the conclusion, it was in University of Berkeley, where they said there's a school which teaches happiness there. And they say it is by being grateful, by helping others, and by doing, they might not have specifically said seva because that's a typical Indian word, but by doing all this, by gratitude, by help, by helping others, you get happiness. So for your own happiness, not for others' sake, for your own happiness, for your own, better feelings to be triggered in your own body, you have to do seva, to help others. Once, I believe, Kasturi Garu, you must have all heard of Kasturi, the famous Kasturi Garu, Professor Kasturi, the legendary Kasturi Garu. I believe asked him, Swami, who are you? Who are you? So Swami, he repeated this in one of his speeches also in Purnachandra Auditorium. And he said, Sarva Rupa Dharam Shantam. This is Swami's own poem. Sarva Rupa Dharam Shantam, Sarva Nama Dharam Shivam, Sachidananda Rupam Advaitam, Satyam Shivam Sundaram. This is in essence what Swami is all about. Swami declared that this in Purnachandra, all names and forms, Sarva Rupam, all forms, and Sarva Namam, I am Shantam and Shivam. And what is there after that? Nama and Rupa. All we talk of Swami's Nam or Rupa. And then, of course, the third thing comes is Swami's Leela. Leela is the blissful, divine pranks. These are the qualifications of an avatar. Swami's name is more powerful than Swami's form. Most of the time, I said it in my previous talks also, that the word Sairam is much more powerful than physical Sairam. How is it possible? Yes, it is possible, because there was a small game which Swami played with some of the students in the hostel once. And what was that? What he did was he sat in a chair and asked some of the slightly bulkier, heavily built students, not the lean ones, to come and lift him. So about 5-6 of them came. They tried to lift that chair. After all, Swami is a puny 5 feet 2 inches person, must have weighed not more than 50 kilos at best. But the 6 of them put together could not lift the chair up. Swami was sitting in the chair. So then one of the students said Sai Ram and moved the chair. I believe the chair moved, instantly. Then Swami said, cheating. You fellows have cheated. I said, you lift. Who asked you to say Sai Ram? By saying Sai Ram, you could lift mountains. It's a small, it's not as if Swami, if he had wanted, he could have asked the chair to lift without saying Sai Ram. He just wanted us to know that by uttering the word Sai Ram, you can lift mountains. You can lift. Heaviest of heavy guys in the hostel could not lift a puny Swami sitting in a chair, even when he was in a kind of a playful mood. But the moment you said Sai Ram, you could lift it. So that's what happens when you say Sai Ram. And you know the famous story of Peddabottu. Peddabottu used to stay in Prashanthi Nilayam, one lady who she had seen Shirdi Baba also in her in his previous avatar, and then she came to Swami. And she always used to say Sai Ram, Sai Ram. And I believe Swami called her once and said, why are you disturbing me always? What do you want? And she says, where am I disturbing you, Swami? I am sitting under a tree and saying Sai Ram, Sai Ram. So says, that's what, when you say Sai Ram, you're not just saying it in the air. You're not just saying it in the ether. You're calling me all the time. So when you're calling me, it means I have to answer, no? So, this again is a lesson. This lesson is that when you say Sai Ram, be aware that you're talking to Swami. It's not just, you're saying Sai Ram as a matter of routine greeting, after all. And then, of course, the form. So all of you who are post-Mahasamadhi children will always say, sir, Swami's Rupa has disappeared. So what do we do now? After all, he has gone into formlessness. It has gone into eternity. But believe me, so many experiences people have been having of Swami's Rupa, of Swami's presence post-Mahasamadhi. After all, he was confined to a particular place when he was physically available. And now he is not confined to a particular place. And even those of us who could visit him only once a year or maybe twice a year. We were not students there in the Prashanthi Nilayam. And that once a year or twice a year has now become all the time because he's everywhere. A lot of experiences are there. I have told them in your previous Satsangatve Nissangatvam episodes. But, as we say, the story of the Lord, the glory of the Lord can be repeated all the time. There is no ban on repeating the same story again and again, but every time, because, like the Ramayana and Mahabharata, you don't listen it for the first time. A child, when he listens to Ramayana, he doesn't, or reads Ramayana, he doesn't read it for the first time. He's already learned it in the lap of his mother, father, or a grandfather when he was a kid. So the moment he gets a book, a small book, abridged version, or a picture book, or an Amar Chitra Kada, he always, in the subconscious, there is always a story. So you read and you learn again and again. That's about our epics. And even when we grow old, we study those epics, we read those epics because, it's as if, you're going back to the collective consciousness of your past. Similarly, Swami's stories also, it's not as if, none of us, all of us would have heard it, all of us would have repeated it ad nauseum. But again, when we say that, there is some kind of fun and there is some kind of elated feeling which we get after listening to this. So let me tell you one or two instances. One is, I as you know, I stay in Madras now. And once, post-Mahasamadhi, what happened? This is a story which all of us, those of us in Tamil Nadu would have known. So please bear with me. And others there is this beautiful building called Sai Kailash in Ooty. Some of you would have heard about Ooty. There was some huge vehicle was bringing in some granite stones and slabs for some makeover work in that Ooty Swami's building. That's called Sai Kailash. This is post Mahasamadhi. So what happened was this came early in the morning, one day, around 6:30 or 7 in the morning. And Ooty, it's dark even early in the morning. So the driver went and told the watchman there. They didn't have the keys. The watchman went and told the caretaker or some of these organizing members there, one lady. She went to get the keys. But meanwhile, one gentleman had come with keys. He had opened the doors. He had helped in unloading all the granite slabs, told the driver that his name was some Krishnamurti, and left. After some time, this lady came back with the keys, the one who went in search of keys for the Ooty Kailash building. And they said already it has been unloaded. This Krishnamurti gentleman had come and unloaded all this. He says, how can Krishnamurti have the keys? I have the keys with me. There is only one set of keys. Can't be that this Krishnamurti comes with another set of keys. So she immediately thought something was wrong. She didn't have any other doubt, but saying somebody must have got a duplicate key. So she alerted the local convener. And that local convener and all, asked the driver, who is this Krishnamurti? I believe recently there was this alumni meet which happened. So they had some photographs of that alumni meet. They said, is this any of these persons? So they pointed out to one person and said, this is that Krishnamurti. So this convener rang up that Krishnamurti and said, how come you have the keys? He says, what keys? I don't have any keys. What Ooty? I am not even in Ooty. I am attending a Balvikas Guru's meeting in Chennai, in Madras. I am nowhere near Ooty. So why are you asking me this? This is this Krishnamurti, you seem to have come here and opened the keys and, a puny man and a small man, and he has unloaded all these things and disappeared. So who is this Krishnamurti? That was the big question that happened that time. So there's nothing but Swami's manifestation as a Krishnamurti, as a Ramurti who comes. I mean, Ooty's Sai Kailash is one place where I have personally seen many manifestations of Swami post. They are very simple people there. And they put food for Swami in a small bowl. And some, after food in a hotel, they give you finger bowls. So they keep a finger bowl. So the food disappears from the plate and the finger bowl is full of leftover as if somebody has washed his hands. So that keeps happening on a regular basis. When I was there physically, what happened was the jhula started moving when we were giving the aarti to Swami. And somebody said the jhula moves because, there must be air. Some draft of wind must be coming from the window. I said, why don't you go close the window? No wind is so strong, which makes the jhula move, but at the same time, the aarti was burning very bright. If the wind was so strong, the aarti should have gone off. The flame should have gone off. The flame was burning very bright. Whereas the jhula was moving all through till we finished the aarti, then it stopped. So this is a beautiful experience of Swami. And then, of course, manifestations of Vibhuti in all our bhajans where we have this at Sai IAS study circle. So whenever we have this bhajans, we have Swami's Vibhuti coming in. There are long stories. There are stories which maybe in some other occasion I can tell you. But one particular instance I'll tell you, which involved me. One of those days I went to Sundaram. Sundaram is Swami's temple in Madras. And that happened to be our wedding anniversary. So we went there. So on the main altar, there was some Vibhuti manifestation. So the caretaker then said, how come you guys have come here today? Normally I go on a Sunday, but this was a Saturday, I suppose. How come you came on a Saturday? I said, so this is our wedding anniversary. And there's some Vibhuti which is coming out of the photograph. Maybe this is for you. Then I said, if it was for me, I told my wife, if it was for us, perhaps it should have come in our house, not here. After all, as the crow flies, I was 2 kilometers away from Sundaram. And lo and behold, when we went back and opened the puja room, there was Vibhuti manifestation on Swami's photographs. So this was a clear saying that, you guy, you fellow, you're being very impertinent. Try not to be impertinent. After all, if you want it here, it will come. If you want it there, it comes. If it has come, you have to take it as Swami's grace, not try to test it and try not to be impertinent. It's a lesson for us. Similarly, as once one of the students, there are stories and stories, which I'll tell you perhaps if I have time at the end of it, after we finish the session. One student seems to have asked Swami, I want, there was this student sitting there, and Swami said, what do you want? Please ask. We will give you anything you want. Swami said, this boy asked him, Swami, I want to see your Vishwarupa Darshan. You must have seen movies where Lord Krishna gives Vishwarupa Darshan. So this boy asked for a Vishwarupa Darshan. So Swami quietly pulled his hand, took him to the window outside and showed him outside and said, I want to see the Vishwarupam out there. All the people who are sitting there, it's not as if, you give a major Vishwarupa Darshan. He says, all the people sitting there, the birds, the trees, the animals, that is all Swami's Vishwarupam. The people, everybody is a manifestation of Swami, isn't it? It's a lesson again which says, don't look at God. I mean, you don't ask for God. If he comes with Swami told in one of the speeches, if I come with as they show you in movies, with a crown or with a flute or wearing all those ornaments, people will take me and put me in a museum. After all, I'll become a piece of museum, or they'll put some coins at me. After all, if you see people going like that, you think he must be some kind of a beggar and you give coins. So that is not, all the world around you is a manifestation of the God. As he says in Bhagavad Gita, they say the 11th chapter, Krishna, Arjuna's Vishwarupam, he says, Aneka bahudara vaktra netram pasyami tvam vishwato anantarupam. Your endless form I see. So many mouths, so many hands, so many eyes. You are spread all over the world. So that is a sociological explanation Swami has given, saying, there, you see out there, that is my Vishwarupam. And that Vishwarupam is what we should be serving in the Antaryami service. When you are talking of the Antaryami service, this is what we serve, not God himself. God doesn't require your service. It's an opportunity given by Swami to serve. As a part of National Leadership Program, you must have all heard of the Swami's Mahavakyas, leadership Mahavakyas. People would have told you, this is what Swami told, to be, to do, to see, and to tell. These are the Mahavakyas of leadership Swami told General Chiba. What does it mean? Very simple catechisms he has given. To be the change you want to be. Isn't it? A lot of us talk of a lot of things, but again, when we're talking of service, it's better to move a small stone rather than cribbing about it all the time. When you go outside, you only have a tendency to see the darker side. You don't see the brighter side. You don't want to be the change. So Swami always said, be the change. You be what you want to say. And what are the components of this? Swami himself has given us a lot of examples, right? It is vision. Vision is a part of having a vision, beautiful vision of the future. What you want to be is a part of this leadership. A small village which had no road facilities, which had no drinking water facility, which had nothing, but you have to reach from Bangalore itself, it used to take 10 to 12 hours, as metamorphosed into a major pilgrim center. How? That's the vision Swami had, to change it. And the Swami's hospital project or the drinking water projects are the examples where Swami himself has shown by his vision what can be done. So that is the vision we should be thinking of. And then again, as we are talking of service, I believe some of the elders once gave a big project to Swami, about 10 of them belonging to a particular state. Let us not mention the state. Swami had looked at that project and just given it back. I think this 5-6 people have come all the way and they were sitting there. They wanted Swami's approval for a major project. Swami gave it back without saying anything. Then again they went and next day they went and gave. Swami again looked at it and gave it back. Third day, one of the elders asked them, Swami, if you want to say yes, please say yes. If you want to say no, please say no. We will not go ahead with the project. But tell us something. Why are you giving it back? And then Swami said, open so-and-so page. He didn't even look at that project. He said, open so-and-so page. Read at the top what you have written. He says, Satya Sai organization. He says, this is not Satya Sai organization. This is Satya Sai Seva organization. Okay. So without Seva, the meaning of organization doesn't. Unless you have that in mind, all your projects are useless. Change it and come back. He gave approval and all that, but without even looking at the book, he was saying that Satya Sai Seva organization. That's the vision Swami had of service to humanity. And that vision should be made reality by all of us, especially you people who are youngsters who are in the National Leadership Program. Second quality Swami used to say as a part of this, vision is empathy. That's another leadership quality as a part of to be. I believe once a group of villagers came and they were waiting in the hot sun out there in Vrindavan. And they came by, there were some of those padiyatras they do, they came by walk. And it was hot. And Swami, by the time I had finished his darshan, went up to the room. And one of the volunteers or Sevadal, they went and told Swami, these people have come from the village. So normally after he retires, he wouldn't come back, but he started rushing out for them. And as he came, he started going out from his room and into the grounds where these people were sitting. It was very hot. So one of the students came with Swami's chappal and also an umbrella. Swami glared at them and said, no, and went off to meet them. He sort of angrily glared at this boy and went away. But after, talking to them, giving them a lot of pleasure and love, he came back. As he was coming back, this boy was standing there. He thought he must have committed something wrong, but Swami looked at him with a lot of love and said, Bangaru, all these people have come from a long way in the sun. They are not wearing chappals and they are sitting in the sun. How does it look if I wear chappals and take an umbrella and go there? Is it proper? I mean, after all, nobody is asking Swami to kind of go there also. He could have gone in the car. He could have gone with an umbrella. After all the facilities are there. So that is the empathy which Swami was telling all of us about. Similarly, last time I told you one episode where, the old Prashanti, there was those, these type of modern toilets were not there when the old Prashanti was there. It was a toilet where people used to go and finish their morning ablutions in the open ground. So it was an open toilet kind of a stuff, where the old toilets were there. So there used to be volunteers who go and clean those toilets. After all, it has to be clean. So a group of volunteers went to clean the place and they were wearing those old shirts without having a bath, because after doing the dirty work, you have to come back and have a bath. And, you can't wear those white shirts and all, they'll become dirty. As they were coming back with all their utensils, the brooms and buckets and all that, Swami went and embraced each one of them. After all, they were coming from a dirty work and they must have been soiled. Swami went and, got hold of each of them and said, Bangaru, no work is dirty in Swami's language. So this, if you're going there, this is Swami's work for service. You have to have your bath, put your vibhuti on, wear your white shirts and go. Again, empathy, because after all, Swami need not have gone and touched what normally what I would have done or you would have done is, why go from the backyard and go have a bath and come. Then only I'll talk to you. After all, you have done something dirty. Don't touch anything inside. But Swami is not like that. He went and embraced them and said, no work is dirty in Swami's language. After all, you have done a great service. But as you go and do this service, wear your white shirts and put on your vibhuti, have your bath and do it. Similarly, next thing is to do. You have to think of what you do should be a mark of leadership. Again, Swami had set us an example. I'll tell you a small story in this also. There was this, famous person called V.K. Gokak. You must have heard about him. He was a vice chancellor. He was a man of letters. He was a Sahitya Academy winner, and he was the president of the Sahitya Academy also. Old-timers, V.K. Gokak, Kasturi, and all those people. So V.K. Gokak was the president of the Sahitya Academy, but he became the vice chancellor. So he didn't have time to go and hand over all the papers. So the next person who was appointed as the president of the Sahitya Academy, one Mr. Banerjee, he came to take over from Mr. Gokak to Puttaparthi. And after all, having come, Gokak had taken him to see Swami. So from his pocket, this man had taken out a dirty piece of cloth, a handkerchief, and was wiping his nose. It was very dirty. It was dirty because he was addicted to using snuff. I don't know any of you know about this. Snuff is a tobacco powder which people used to put in their mouth, in their nose and inhale. That gives them a kick. It's almost like smoking. So as you do the snuffing business, you wipe off your nose and the entire kerchief becomes very dirty. So Swami told him, don't use this snuff, which is bad for the health. At the same time, Swami took a kerchief and wiped his own mouth. And I believe there was this, Swami used to take pan those days. So these pan traces were on the kerchief. From that day onwards, Swami tells that he has stopped taking pan. Says, I have told this gentleman on one hand not to take snuff. On the other hand, I am eating pan. How is it possible? I mean, if you have to tell somebody, you must have heard about the Ramakrishna Paramahamsa story. About one mother going and asking Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, saying, my son is eating a lot of sweets. Please ask him to stop. Then Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, please come back after 2 weeks. And this mother went after 2 weeks. And then he told the boy, please don't eat sweets. And this mother asked him, why did you ask? You could have said that day. He said, I am fond of sweets. Before I give an advice, I should practice that. Similarly, Swami also, before telling that fellow that not to have snuff, Swami has to stop his own habit of eating pan. So from that day onwards, I believe Swami didn't touch his pan. So Swami, there's this, all of us again are Swami students. All of us, though we might not be physically enrolled in Swami's university, but all of you are fortunate who have become students of Swami in the National Leadership Program. But it's not a very simple thing, Just to get a certificate is a simple thing, but to call oneself as Swami's thing, it requires some qualification. So there was this episode in Brindavan where some of the people were sitting and talking. And one of the person there, she said, Swami, my son has got a good job. Swami said, Manchidi Bangaru. Good Bangaru. Manchidi means good. And then he says, Swami, he was Swami's student. Swami said, no, he is not my student. Then some of the faculty members there, they told Swami, no, Swami, he was here. He passed out last year and then he landed this job. And Swami said, no, he's not my student. So by that, what Swami meant was he must have been physically enrolled in the university in the program, but he was not considered as Swami's student because Swami, by his behavior, Swami did not consider him a student. So you have to be Swami's student, not just by being what you are, but by being what Swami expects out of you. The path is very tough. And, as they say in Sanskrit, Shurasya dhara nishita. It's like a razor's edge. Duratyaya durgamam padam. The path is also very tough. We have to keep up to Swami's ideals. We have to keep up to Swami's dictums. Swami again had said, when you have to behave well, you have to consume what, he quotes Bhagavad Gita, says, Yukta ahara viharasya. You have to take right food and right behavior. And what is right food? Right food is not what you consume through your mouth, but what you consume through all your sense organs. Yukta ahara means you have to consume, you're consuming all the time, from all sides. They keep coming to you, the social media, the television, the whatever. All that becomes your aharam. So what we consume with all your sense organs becomes your food, and that gets internalized. And if that is not proper, then we cannot be called as Swamis. That is not good. Then you can't be Swami students. So that has to be kept in mind when we are talking of being Swami students. Swami again gives a definition. He says, purity of thought, word, and deed. Trikarana Shuddhi, he says. Manasekam, Pachasekam, Karmanikam, Mahatmanam. Those aspiring to be a leader should have purity of thought, word, and deed. Of course, we should. It's easy to aspire, but very difficult to follow. And Swami gives some 3 qualities. Swami himself has written these 3 qualities in one of the forewords to a book on leadership. He says, what you should have, those who have aspiring to be a leader should have self-knowledge. That is strength and weaknesses of yourself. You must have that. Then knowledge relating to the field of work and knowledge relating to the social environment. I'm quoting this from that foreword Swami had written. A good leader must possess personal character and national character. It's not enough that if you're good, you should also have a national character, because you should look at the broader picture of the nation. And you should be dedicated to the welfare of all and uphold the reputation of the country. That is also a main thing which Swami always harps upon. And he says, march in front rather than issue orders from rear. Lead from the front. This is, Swami has set us many examples. The world needs a leader who will be guides in action. This is what Swami had said when we talk of leadership. And what is this leadership, and what are the qualities we should have? Lots of people have said a lot of qualities. Our ancient scriptures are full of those. But in one of the Swami's speeches, Swami himself has defined it. It says one should have Maitri. Maitri is what? Maitri is, again, as I said, empathy, friendship, and also egolessness. One should be egoless. One should be ready to do whatever work that is given, rather than thinking that is a good work or a bad work. Is a good job or a bad job. After all jobs are good in Seva. And the outstanding example of this is Professor Kasturi himself. I believe in those days, old Prashanti, he used to do everything. After all, he was a principal. He was one of the he was a literature himself. He used to playwright. A lot of people respected him. He retired as a principal, but he used to do all kinds of work in Prashantinalaya. I believe one of the stories is that once the Postmaster General from Hyderabad had come, they wanted to open a post office in Prashantinalaya. And they said, okay, we can't appoint a person, but we can take a person on contract. Those days also contract postmasters were appointed. And the qualification was he should be a retired government employee. There was nobody there except Professor Kasturi. He was in a government college. He retired as a principal. So Professor Kasturi said, gladly, I'll be the postmaster. I'll stamp all those Sanatana Saravis which go out of Prashanti Nilayam. But Swami said, oh, Professor Kasturi, professor and postman. That doesn't go well, you see. Postmaster. What should we do? Enjoy and in jest. And I believe Kasturi said, Swami, I'll be the postmaster of, I'm not an ordinary postmaster. I am the postmaster of Prashanti Nilayam. It's kind of, it's an honor to be a postmaster in Prashanti Nilayam. It's an honor to be a volunteer in Prashanti Nilayam to stand near the Ganapati, that Ganesh gate. That is the honor. So he has, and Swami was very happy, I believe. He says, look, that is the quality I'm looking for. And that's no wonder he was the favorite of Swami in all things. So that is the quality, egolessness and to do the job which you're given. Take up any job without ego or hesitation and humility in a person. Then the second quality he says is compassion, karuna. After all, sarva bhuta hite rataha. One should have compassion for fellow beings and not just the fellow beings, but also for animals and all living creatures. Then to be happy. This is another quality which he talks of. To be happy all the time and be jubilant. And then to be detached. After all things keep happening. But faith in Swami means that bad things won't happen. It's not that bad things won't happen. It's the faith which says, even if a bad thing were to happen, it is Swami is in control of my fate. That is what they call it as upeksha in Sanskrit. That is totally, detachment doesn't mean, wearing saffron cloths and going and sitting in a forest under a tree and saying something Ram Ram or something. No. It is to be very much a part of it. And at the same time, believe that Swami is fully in control of my fate. It's not that, bad things will happen, good things will happen. What you think is a bad thing now might become a good thing tomorrow. After all, we don't know. There are lots and lots of examples about this, but maybe some other time. So I think this is what I thought of telling you youngsters. But one more thing before I wind up. Last time when I came for the commencement of your thing, we could not. There were lots of questions. So I thought before winding up, all the questions had come to us in writing, and some of them we could not reply there in the panel. But broadly speaking, I thought maybe I'll just touch upon one or two of them and leave others for you to question, because most of them will be having the same questions all over again. One major question which I saw was, how is it possible to do Seva along with our professional life? After all, we are not 10 to 5 jobbers. All the time we are working. And this, I believe, Swami, somebody asked Swami the same thing. Somebody asked Swami, saying, how can we do this? He says, did you have your food? Did you have your bath? And one of the IAS officers himself asked Swami, we are busy people, long back, not now, some 25, 30 years back, or maybe even before that. Swami said, evening you go to play tennis, you go to a club, some people go play cards, all this they do. And, you sit with family and gossip. At the same time, when you say you don't have time for Seva, it's a kind of priorities. You have to prioritize what you have. And what you do is Seva. Some of us might not have time also, but whenever you have time, you do Seva. Biggest opportunity is to do Seva. And then the second question I thought I'll address, somebody had asked us, can I join public service? Is it a good thing to do? I would say, yes, you must join. If you have an interest, if you have an intention, please go ahead and do it. That was a question which about 3-4 people had asked and sent it to us. Because public service is the biggest opportunity to help others. Maybe corporate life might not give you that kind of a satisfaction, but public service will do. Because whatever you do, after all, at the end of it, it is not a file. It is not a, it's not a company. At the end of every action in public service, there's a human being. If you have that realization, then entire thing is an opportunity to serve. And then another thing which I also faced, and which all of you have asked me, was how do I reconcile Swami's teachings with my real life experiences? After all, Swami says Maitri, Swami says Karuna, Swami says compassion, Swami says service. And in real life, it's so difficult. I think one chartered accountant asked me, one of the things, I'm a chartered accountant. And many companies come and ask me to fudge. And if I don't do it and speak about Swami, somebody else will do it. And I lose my clients. No matter what you do, after all, you have to be true to yourself. Unless you're true to yourself, then you're not really, after all, you have to be true to yourself and do what you have to do. Another question which I thought briefly touch upon and wind up is how do you handle bosses who are bad? Especially in the public service, some of them are politicians. So how do you handle them? After all, they are also human beings. Bad boss or a bad politician. In a corporate life, it can be a bad boss or a bad politician. But if they know that you are straight, you are honest, and you have a person with good intentions, nobody will touch you. And they will not harm you. They'll not tell you perhaps to do wrong things. They might get it done through others. If it is in your hand, you can correct it and ensure that Swami's teachings and benefit to all Bahujana Sukhaya, Bahujana Hitaya happens. If not, maybe you can only pray to Swami. But you certainly cannot be a part of it. You don't want to be a part of it. So with that, perhaps we will 8:30 now. Maybe some other time when we meet in person in Prashantanilayam, we'll tell you a lot of experiences and anecdotes. But for today, we'll wind up here. And maybe if there are any questions, we'll take it. Otherwise, Sai Ram. Thank you. Sai Ram.
Saram sir. Thank you, sir, for the wonderful talk. With your permission, sir, now, as you have said, sir, we will move on the questions and answer session.
Yeah.
Brothers and sisters, you may now type in your questions in the chat box or use your raised hand option to ask your questions. भाइयों और बहनों, आप अगर आपके पास कोई भी प्रश्न है या अगर आप सर को पूछना चाहते हैं तो आप चैट बॉक्स में टाइप भी कर सकते हैं या फिर रेज हैंड ऑप्शन को दबा करके आप अपने प्रश्न को आगे रख सकते हैं. साई राम. Sister from TS F107, Nivedita. Sai Ram. You may unmute yourself.
Sai Ram, sir, thank you for the wonderful session. It was highly insightful, sir. Thank you for that. My question is this is related to this topic, Antaryami Sai. We see people without any mistakes from our end. We see them like they hate us or they point mistakes towards us on daily basis also. So letting them go is a task for us, but how to forgive them and how to see Swami in them, can you give us some insights on those?
Can we take all questions at once or one by one?
Yes. However you
Because they'll be
feel that's
repeating.
okay.
So they'll be repeating
Okay.
most of the time. So maybe
Sure,
let's
sir.
say
That's my
3-4
question.
questions. Maybe 3-4 questions at one time, then we can answer. Because most of the time I find that the questions get repeated all the time. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Yes, sir.
Happy. Sarah.
Next one, please.
Bharat from Kerala. Sairam, Brother
Yeah.
Bharat.
Sairam, sir. Am I audible?
Of course
Yeah,
you
you're
are.
audible.
Yeah.
So, sir, again, it was a great session. Thanks for the great session. And my question, actually, it's not related to the subject. It's more of like related to the field, the career you are in right now. Like, I know that I understand that it's now a very adventureful career that you are now in, and the journey of you joining the civil service would also been um, a tough one. Like we have to wait for the exam, and every day we have to be persistent and consistent in our works, and be devoted to that. But as we move ahead, sometimes we might feel like less motivated, and sometimes we will see that all our friends or the close ones near us, they will be succeeding, and they will be like more like moving on in their career, while we might feel like we are somewhere stagnant in our life. So in this time when while we are preparing for exams and all, in this stage of life, how would we keep motivating ourselves for the exam, and keep pushing us forward, uh, while even if we are 2 or 3 months away, far away from the exams, it will be hard for us. So I would like to know, how did you manage to do it?
Good one. Yeah. Thanks.
Sairam sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Sairam sir, very happy to meet you. My question is very small question. Sir, you told about detachment, upeksha. Can you please explain it a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I'll do that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Last one. Before that, one more we can
Okay,
take, and then I'll address this. After that, if you have time, we can go for other ones. Okay.
Brother Anand Ganesh from Tamil Nadu.
Sairam, sir. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Sir, actually, in any given situation in your life or any professional life, there'll be, before taking a decision, we'll have a lot of options. Take a decision for a particular situation, there'll be a lot of options, and every options will have their or concomitant with their own consequences. So based on that, how you narrow down these decisions will be the correct one, and this one will be very suitable for that. Now, for students like us, to examination decisions or in office, we have a lot of options. So which option that you narrow down, and you will stick on to that?
Okay.
And how you do that, Sairam?
Okay. Fine. I'll try to. Not that I'm an expert in all these things, but let me answer one by one. So let me take up the first one. Okay. Nivedita had asked about how to forgive those who hate us. I mean, it's a very difficult thing. Yes. You have people who hate you all the time. And to turn the other cheek is a very difficult task. But again, those of us in Swami's fold, we have, it's more of a practice that you end up doing this. Because after all, you hate not the, Swami's this thing is, hate the wrong and not the wrongdoer. Hate the evil and not the evildoer. Because that mistake is his. The act of committing that mistake is his. But if you start hating him, then it becomes a personal hate, or vice versa. Or somebody hates you, what do? I mean, you can only give love to him. Maybe he'll accept it. There were a lot of cases, a lot of examples where, people hate you, and, none other than Mahatma Gandhi's example, where you get thrown out of a railway coach and then you become the greatest of leaders. by not hating the person, but hating the wrong thing he's doing. And that's how we have, he didn't hate the British, he hated the act of theirs in subjugating others. So he made the best of friends with all of them. But at the same time, he got us our independence. I mean, this is very easy to say. I mean, I also agree with you. It's easy to say, but it comes only with practice. It doesn't come just like that. Not that I have perfected it yet, but maybe I am in the art of perfecting it, or just in that process. Yes, we are doing it. Next one, the motivating ourselves in journeys. That's where we say you have to be, what this is, if you're too materialistic and put the burden on, as I said, the idea is that bad things won't happen, but it's to know that Swami is in control. Suppose with that attitude, if you do it, not Swami, some of you might not believe in Swami, some of you might believe in some other God, but most of them who have come to National Leadership Program in Satya Sai, but Swami never said you have to believe me only. He said, make a better Hindu, a Hindu a better Hindu, a Christian a better Christian, and a Muslim a better Muslim. So whatever, the act itself of believing in a higher force will keep you motivated. And the journey is always tough. It's not as if, Kshurasya Dhara Nisita, as I said. It's nothing, no path is laid out easily. Unless you work it out, you slog for it. And the options are there. Too many options will be there. And it's the chance, There was that beautiful poem when he said, miles to go before I sleep. You must have heard of that poem. But before that, there is another verse which says, there 2 roads diverged in the wood, and I took the road less traveled, and that had made all the difference. So sometimes some of us will take the road less traveled, and that will make all the difference. But at the end of that road, whether there is a pot of gold or something else, you won't know. So that's where your faith comes in, and that's where your belief in God comes in, and that's where you have to go. And then let me come to upeksha, detachment. Detachment does not mean you're totally detached from all your life, all your friends, all your this thing. But what Swami has said, and what most of the scriptures have told us also, is that there is an action which you're doing. You do an action, but do you have a control on that result? Kartum sakyam, akartum sakyam, anyadhava kartum sakyam. That's what they say in Sanskrit. It can be done, it cannot be done, or it can be done otherwise. It can happen anyway. So most of the time it happens. So without being too much attached to your result, you have to be saying, look here, I have faith on God, and that will happen the way it has to happen. But at the same time, you give your effort. So that is where detachment comes in, and that is what gives you a lot of peace of mind and happiness. And decision, and which is the decision, suitable decision which you have taken, the last question. Come. This again comes out of your experience and faith and the culture in which you have been brought up. Because most of the time, these days, instead of, there was this speech by one of the Supreme Court judges, Justice Ram Subramaniam, who is also a Bal Vikas alumni like me. He says, I was listening to one of his speeches, he says, these days, those days when he was a child, I believe there used to be classes in school which gives us moral lessons. These days, that itself has become a sin to talk of moral lessons. It has to be a careeristic, and the parents discuss careers even when the child is born. So if that becomes your culture, then your decisions, everything is conditioned by that, the culture in which you are there. So that is not the case with you people is a different matter, because otherwise you wouldn't have come to this program itself. You would have been, happily watching some movie on Netflix and enjoying your Sunday. That all of you have joined here means that you are in the right culture and right path. And hope for the best decision, leave it to Swami. It will come. So thank you. Is there any more? Somebody, I think, has chatted, even eating pan is also a bad habit, is it? Okay. I saw it in the chat box. So eating pan might not be, but eating tambaku pan is a bad habit. Eating pan after you have a heavy meal once in a while is okay, but eating it daily will only spoil your teeth. Why do you want to waste money on a dentist? Okay, I think if that's it, then happy Ugadi and happy National Leadership Program for all of you.
Saram sir, we can take some questions from chat box as well.
Yeah, please.
With your
go
permission,
ahead.
sir.
That's okay. I have no problem. I thought the time was limited. So, yeah.
So, brother from Tamil Nadu is asking, I have been given a new scope to work on my super boss, which my direct boss was not okay as super boss, and may communicate directly to take up role. So my boss have been constantly sharing only negative comments. However, I managed to stay calm. What else can I do? It as I will need to face my boss every day, and all my reviews and year and ratings will be with him.
Okay. Next one.
Sairam sir. So this question is from Sudhamalla Rajeshwari. Sairam sir. Swami's answer for who are you question, which was asked by Professor Kasturi Garu. And one more question from brother Shivam from West Bengal. You may ask your question. Brother Shivam, you may unmute yourself.
M Sai Kumar sir and every brother and sister. Sir, you just told that most of the politicians mostly सब ज्यादातर लोग bad ही होते हैं. तो you had.
I didn't say that. You were saying that. I didn't say that.
No.
Most of them are good.
Yes, definitely. But as per my experience, most of them are bad. You had been in very senior positions, like joint secretary itself is a very big position, but you worked in principal secretary positions also. I had some personal experience कि मेरे जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट में है अभी जो करंट रूलिंग पार्टी है, सो आई हैड अपॉर्चुनिटी टू वर्क देयर. आई डिडंट वर्क, बट उन्होंने काफी फोर्स किया था. बीइंग अ पब्लिक फेस है, उन्होंने बोला कि आप ऐसा करिए. सो मैंने बस देखा कि क्या करना सही है या नहीं. सो आई मेट विथ माय स्टेट सीएम आल्सो एंड हैड डिस्कशन ओवर अराउंड हाफ एन आवर. बहुत सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स के बारे में मैंने बात भी किया, बट वेरी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड द स्टेटमेंट वाज, शिवम, यू आर गेटिंग मनी फॉर नॉट वर्किंग. तुम्हें काम नहीं करना है, तुम्हें बस पैसा लेना है और लोगों के वोट्स लाने हैं. स्टेट दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स आर. और जब मैं देखता हूँ कि it is not party versus party or anything, it is all the parties are same. And
okay, I get your point. Yeah, I get your point. Okay, right.
सर, तो आप इतने सीनियर पोजीशन में फिर आपको कैसे मजबूर फील
I'll
होता
tell
है?
you. I'll tell you. Okay, that's it. Okay. Anything else? I think one more and we can wind up.
Yes, one of the brother, he is asking, sir, निर्णय कैसे ले और अपना सुझाव कैसे दे?
Okay.
Oh, sorry, sir, Dandan.
Okay,
sister from Kerala, Sai Varinya.
SatVam sir, thank you for the beautiful class. My question is that you told that Swami commanded you to become an IAS officer. Could you please share that particular story with us? And my second question is about, I would like to know more about IAS study circle. Is that about giving coaching, or is that
No, it's not.
like
yeah,
Satsang
I'll
or
tell you.
something like that?
Yeah, got your question. So, okay, let us take the politician's question first, because that might might be interesting for all of you. Because that's what I said when I was speaking. If you're driving on a road you will see only the bad things. You don't see the good things that have happened. What we were maybe 50 years back, what we were 30 years back, what we are now, what has all happened, that is our human nature. It's not as if, the beautiful, Prashanti Nilayam will be there, all roads will be clean. Outside, you might see some kachra somewhere. You'll say, yeah, even Prashanti Nilayam is like this. Some fellow would have put some piece of paper. So that's a human tendency. So my take is that not all politicians are bad. Actually, there are good politicians, and the country has been running because of these good politicians. What we see, the media has a tendency only to kind of highlight the bad things and forget the good things. So that is what happens in most of the cases. Same thing with public service also. What you see in public service, one X has done something bad, or one Y has done something bad, and then you say all these people are bad. No, it's not the case, because so there are thousands and thousands of public servants, and they are the ones who are working hard to do this kind of service to humanity. So this particular case, perhaps then you should, that becomes a counseling. I'm not into counseling what you should do, but that is a matter of your conscience and choice. But to say just because we had a bad experience, to say that all politicians are bad is not a correct thing, because I've dealt with bad politicians, good politicians, and very good politicians. After all, I was principal secretary to the chief minister himself. So on a daily basis, on a hourly basis, I've dealt with these people. And believe me, they are not bad. I mean, after all, they have this compulsion of fighting an election, but at the same time, they talk about their constituency, they talk about the people, they talk about the people who meet them all the time, they want to do something. And unless you've done that, you would not have been at this place, last 50 years. You would have been like some of the sub-Saharan African countries, or maybe some other countries which are not very fortunate, like India. So that, suppose, answers Shivam's question. But your personal thing, perhaps you have to take a personal decision as to whether you should do that or you should quit and join some other place. Then the super boss and boss problem, again, that becomes a matter of counseling, and I'm not into that. But that, again, you have to take it. In every organization, there is a hierarchy, and every organization has this problem. Sometimes for quick results, we tend to kind of break the hierarchy. I mean, even I do that. If there is a crisis, if there is an emergency, if there is a natural calamity, I just go down to the lowest person in the pecking order and talk to him and get things done, give orders. Because that's where, after all, communication in organizations also, that's another subject. When communication is done, most of the communication studies will say when it goes from one person to another person to another person, at least 20 to 30% of the intent is lost by the time it reaches the last person. There's a separate branch of study on that, saying, how do you communicate to persons? So if a super boss does that and your boss is not happy, maybe you have to counsel your boss, saying that I have nothing to do with it. But at the same time, if it is for the good of the organization and good of the people, I don't know where you're working, but if that happens, then you have to take a call and obey the orders and face the consequences. Then this question on who are you? That I thought one of the question is what one of the Kasturi Garu asked Swami, and that's when he gave that beautiful poem. Is this I am every name, I am every form. And I am Satyam Shivam Sundaram. So every name, every form would also refer to a sociological listing that I am there in you, in him, and in the third person. I am there in everyone. So you have to realize that. And the other way of saying it is that I am also in every God, whichever God you pray to, whichever religion you pray to, that all reaches me. It's both a religious and a sociological explanation of that statement by Swami. Nirnay kaisa kare, decision kaisa le, that again I've said, I've dealt it before. हाथ में काम, मन में राम. That's how you have to take your decisions. There's no other man mein Ram or haath mein kaam. Do that. That's the only way of taking a decision. And it might go wrong, but at the same time, be happy that you have done it in good faith. My journey to IAS and those things, I think they are personal questions. I don't think we have time for that today, but maybe some other time. But Swami, when that was long back, when I was in my post-graduation, I was thinking of taking up law as a career. And my father was a very staunch devotee. He went to Parthi and he said, my son has completed his post-graduation. Then Swami said, ask him to do IAS. So I took the exam and got it. That's it. As simple as that. But it doesn't mean that hard work is not required, because you have to grind at least 8 to 10 hours a day if you're taking the exam. And it cannot be, I mean, as I said, those who want to, there were a lot of questions last time when we met in the 10LP seminar, leadership seminar, about how to prepare. Prepare, it's a very hard work. You have to prepare at least 8 to 10 hours every day. And you have to be in the groove. You study a particular subject and then immediately shift to a particular subject in the civil service exam. Maybe we should have a separate class for that if Gopi Garu is willing, those who want to have IAS, as civil service as their option. But focus is required, hard work is required, smart work is required. You work 24 hours a day, but you work hard but don't work smart, then it won't happen. So that's about it. I suppose maybe all others next time when we meet. Thank you. Sai Ram.
Saram sir, thank you so much, sir. As I see, there are more questions in the chat box and raise hands too, brothers and sisters. Due to lack of time, we won't be going ahead with more questions, but would be really happy to collect all the questions and share with sir so he can respond to them later. Thank you, sir, for your answer and participants for your good questions. Thanks a lot. I would now like to invite Dr. Gopi Krishna Pitajala, convener, Sri Satya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation. Sir, over to you.
Sairam, thank you, and wish you all a very happy Ugadi, Gudi Padwa, and those of you who are celebrating your new year, Chatti Chetan, and those of you who are all celebrating, it's a great day, and it's been a great day listening to somebody who's walked the talk actually. Mr. Sai is an old friend, and we've been together for a long time in Hyderabad, and then his father was also known to me. But the best part of it is he's such a simple human being. It's so much of humility. I think the greatest lesson for all of you today is to imbibe that simplicity and humility in his words. I know that he has covered a lot of ground today, and definitely all those questions that you still have in mind, I think we'll request Mr. Sai Garu to answer it. And when he's finding time today being Ugadi, I'm sure that he should also be a little busy at home with guests coming in. So we will let him go today, and we'll catch him again whenever we want. With regards to the IAS study circle or overview of how the civil services, please do let us know how many of you are interested. Yes, about a couple of years back, I remember when Mr. Sai and a few others, from different services joined, and we did a quick program of about 1.5 hours online. I think that was just after the COVID. But if you're interested, I think, we have so many civil servants, so many people in different services across the country. We can get them on board on a Zoom call once. So thank you once again, Sai Garu and Sai, and wish your family a very happy Ugadi. Just coming back from Shivam, and thank you. God bless
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Sairam. Just one clarification. Somebody was asking about IAS study circle. It's a coaching circle. No, this is not a coaching circle which we have. This is serving IAS officers who sit once a month and discuss about Swami. These are Swamis before IAS. Satya Sai started as Tamil Nadu IAS Satya Sai study circle. Thanks to COVID, we have broad-based it by doing online. Otherwise, it was restricted to Tamil Nadu. So this is not, we are not coaching anybody, but as Gopi Garu says, we can do it if required. But this is about Swami study circle. Thank you. Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So,
on behalf of the participants and the whole team of the Sri Sathya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation, I, Balan Chetri, would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to you for sharing your journey with us. We are indeed very fortunate to have had a speaker of your stature with us here today. सर वो शब्द नहीं जो मैं आपको किस तरह बता सकूं कि वो बहुत सारे हैं सर, बस छोटी सी पंक्ति में एक है जो मैंने लिखा है, वो आपसे जान करके वो मैं जरूर बताना चाहूंगा आपको। वहाँ कार्य ही क्या जो संतुष्टि ही ना दिलाए, वहाँ कार्य ही क्या जो संतुष्टि ही ना दिलाए, वहाँ सेवा ही क्या जो माँ भारती के लिए ना कर पाए, वहाँ सोच ही क्या जो परिवर्तनशील समाज में हम युवा ना ला पाए, हम युवा ना ला पाए। सर, today you are signing example of challenges have inspired in us the fire to stick to the path of the faith, learning and determination. मैं यह जरूर कहना चाहूंगा कि आपने आज हमारे साथ जो अनुभव साझा किया है वह वास्तव में लंबे समय तक हमारे साथ रहेगा और परीक्षण के समय में हम आपके उपदेशों को याद करेंगे, अपने आप में उन मूल्यों को अनुरूप सोचने, बोलने और कार्य करने में लगाएंगे। सर बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर आपका। As today we are celebrating a new year festival, Ugadi, and the first day of Chaitra Navratri, let us all collectively pray to our Swami, our dearest Mother Sai, to help us in each and every situation. And I also like to wish a happy Eid ul-Fitr to everyone in advance. Thank you, Swami, for this blessed evening. I would also like to take the opportunity to thank the conveners of the program, Dr. Gopi Krishna Peditala and Professor Yogendra Verma, who gives us the glorious opportunity to be in Satsang with great leaders of the contemporary world, as like to sincerely appreciate the activities actively participation of our participant, making this truly and lively and insightful satsang. A big thanks to the organizing team for the tireless effort for the seamless conduct of the beautiful satsang sessions. Thank you so much, sir. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर आपका। Offering everything जो भी हो हमारे साथ में, जितने भी चीजें हम अपने स्वामी के शरण में दे पाए या रख पाए, स्वामी हर एक चीज आपके शरण में, हर एक कार्य आपके लिए, हर एक समय आपके लिए, हर एक प्यार आपके लिए। जय साई राम। Thank you so much, sir.
I just want to mention about this guy, Balan Chetri, before we close. This youngster is from a place, a very small place from Meghalaya, and he is perhaps the only NLP participant in the last 6 years. Balan, और कोई था मेघालय में? अभी तक तो एक ही है ना, और कोई है?
सर अभी तक तो मैं था, अभी कोई और जुड़ा हुआ है, एंड मुझे पता है कि आगे सर बहुत सारे आने वाले हैं।
And he's a solitary soldier and general of Meghalaya right now, and he sits in a store and he's so committed and he's so loving to Swami and he's such a nice guy. God bless you, Balan. You're a great guy in the team here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to proceed with Santi Mantram. Team, over to you.
समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु, समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु, समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। शांति शांति शांति। जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की।